This is 990WBOB.com, the home of internet entertainment. From Rhode Island to the world, 990WBOB.com. 990WBOB.com is an independent free media outlet.
Live from the world headquarters of 990WBOB.com in the original 13th colony, spreading truth and slaying lies, a one-man gang in a war to restore freedom and liberty, Dan Bidondi.
All right, folks, welcome to the Dan Bidondi Show with your host, Dan Bidondi. Today is March 7th of 2017 edition of the Dan Bidondi Show right here at 990WBOB.com. Check our podcast out right on the archives site here and our YouTube channel, which we post on TruthRadioShow.com. We're going to, excuse me, I was just taking a drink before the show kicked in. But anyway, we got a lot of news to cover, but we're going to have in a couple minutes, he's our guest. He's a former, he's actually be running again. He's a congressional candidate for Rhode Island District 2 for, federal, the seat there anyway. But anyway, he's going to come on to elaborate what's going on because we're going to cover local news because this has a lot to do with the country as well. But voter fraud's been detected in the state of Rhode Island. And Cranston, Rhode Island Mayor Alan Fung, which got screwed out of being governor. I mean, he got railed, basically. And I think they set the whole thing up to put Hillary Clinton 2.0, that's Gina Raimondo, into office. Anyway, he discovered there was voter fraud in Cranston, Rhode Island, just one of many other places. And Cranston police are doing a full-out investigation on this. And we've been talking about this even before this even came to light. And that's why we're bringing my buddy Sal on, Salvatore Caiozzo, and he's going to talk about this. But before we do that, we got other news to talk about too. I mean, this stuff, we talked a lot about demonic stuff, about spiritual warfare and everything else. We're going to talk about that at the end of the show because there's a lot of stuff that surfaced up. Crazy stuff. Take it what you will, take it as a grain of salt, but crazy stuff. But anyway, local news here. Now, hear the headline on this, okay, and tell me what you think about it. All right, I'm just going to read the headline and the subtitle here. This is from the Providence Journal. They're recruiting Department of Justice people. They're recruiting people for prison guards and everything else. But anyway, it says recruit drive seeks more non-white officers. That's right, you heard it right. Recruitment drive seeks more non-white officers. State prison officials seek correctional officers corps that reflects inmate population. I'm a little, I may have been on the go all day, so it's just like a little tongue-tied here. But tell me that does not sound racist. Tell me that does not sound like discrimination to you. Now, let's just reword the title, okay? Just say, recruitment drive seeks more non-black officers or more non-Hispanic officers. What would happen? All hell would be breaking loose. The ACLU would be all over the state, all over the prison departments and everything else. It would be a huge uproar. And I'm not, pushing one diversity to another, whatever. I'm just making a point here. People who are applying for this job or who are white, you don't get this job, you should sue. Because you know damn well if they said black officers, non-black or non-Hispanic, there'd be lawsuits up to zing-zing. This is a Providence Journal. Look it up for yourself, and I don't want to spend too much time on it. We're going to have Sal coming on in a couple minutes. And recruitment drive seeks more non-white officers. Now, what do you think about that? I mean, we're going to leave that. We're probably going to touch on that when Sal gets on, but we're going to mainly focus on the voter fraud here in Rhode Island. And until he calls in, he was independent candidate for Congress against the incumbent Jim Langevin, who's been in there. He's another one of those people that stay in office for God knows how long. Just because he's in a wheelchair, he gets a sympathetic votes. Even though he votes for tyrannical gun laws, he's anti-constitutional all the way. But, just the fact that he's in a wheelchair, oh, no, we can't say nothing bad about him because it's racist. Discrimination, you make in front of the handicap, even though his handicap has nothing at all to do with who he is. And I met him a couple of times. He comes off as a nice guy, really does. And but the thing is, when it comes business to business, he's been voting everything Obama pushed when he was in office. He was right behind him all the way. Anti-gun laws, especially. They want to target gun laws. And but anyway, my buddy Sal Caiozo ran. Let me get some water here because I just was drinking some drink here. And I hate when it happens. Anyway, my buddy Salvatore Caiozo ran against him, and we believe, because I worked this campaign, we believe he was a victim of voter fraud as well. And we're going to talk about that when he gets on the phone here, because this is very serious. And to me, I believe everybody should be on the same page with this. To vote, you should have an ID. If you don't have your ID, you don't vote. Plain and simple. Oh, I forgot it in a car, or could you take a gym membership or something? No. ID to prove that you're an American citizen. Anybody could go get a gym ID. Anybody could get a library card. Anybody could have a student ID, especially non-citizens. A state or federal government document stating that you are a legal citizen of this country and a registered voter, or you don't vote. And once you're marked in to vote, it goes to a statewide system that you cannot vote again. It'll go into a computer system, and it'll go to the other voting booths that you cannot vote again. And this is going on all over the country, and we've been talking about this since then. We thought they were going to throw the election for Hillary Clinton, and they very well almost did, because we had over 4 million votes, illegals, who actually got out to vote several times for Hillary Clinton. And what about that team that was Project Veritas, who actually went into the voting booths there, told them that they were Eric Holder, the former attorney general there. They told them they were Eric Holder, I forgot my ID, and gave the address, and they let them vote, not without showing an ID. So I could walk in there and say, hey, I'm Barack Obama, and I want to vote. Without showing any proof of where I live, any proof of residency. So something has to get done. People in the office right now, you need to put a bill through right away to put this on solidarity, because voter fraud is huge, folks. It really is. And we're going to have Salvatore Caiozo calling in any minute. And I just text him here. And what do you think about that? That's the question. And if you want to put on at 990wbob.com, or at 990 at WBOB, it's our Twitter account, voice out which are the topics we're talking about today. And what do you think about it? We want to know. And right here, Go Local Providence, they reported a video. Fung, who's Alan Fung, he's a mayor of Providence. He was a Republican candidate for governor the last term there in 2012. But Fung announces finding possibility voter fraud in Cranston, calls for reforms. And Cranston Mayor Alan Fung announced Thursday the findings of his investigation that uncovered 8 instances of voter irregularities in Cranston. Like, I got a nationwide show, so a lot of people don't know who these people are. They're local politicians here in the state of Rhode Island. But this does affect the nation, because if you have people, which we got Sal on the phone here, but anyway, if you have people voting illegally and legal votes going on in small communities, that affects the whole nation, even though we might be for local seats. But we got on the phone Salvatore Caiozo. He's an independent candidate for Congress who's going to be running again next year against congressional leader there, Jim Landrigan. And how you doing, Sal?
Good, Dan. How are you?
Oh, great. It's crazy. Like, this voter fraud that we've been talking about, we were worried about that during your campaign, and we were worried about that they were going to try to pull that against Donald Trump. And what do you know? It comes out mainstream media months after we warned people about it in the first place, and now it's out in the mainstream media about voting fraud being found right in our own state.
It's tough to say, but I told you so.
Yep.
Hate to be that way about it, but, it's unfortunate. It's been going on. It's been going on for years. Didn't Jim Taricani do a story on this a long time ago, where people where they were registered were actually vacant lots?
Yep.
Why did nothing come of that?
There was a whole investigation team of Congressman, what's his name, David Cicilline, when he was in mayor of Providence. There was a big investigation going on that they, because he was using vacant lots for non-citizens to vote for him for mayor there. Now he's a congressman in District 1 of Rhode Island. But you've seen the same stuff going on all over the state. I mean, like with me and you, when we went out get the signatures, we got over 800 verified signatures, and what the city hall told you, how many?
Well, the Secretary of State, they ended up with a final count of 567, even though I had the city of Warwick tell me I already had over 600 signatures just from there. And, we had like 800 and something, 819, something like that.
Yep.
You're going to tell me the 300 signatures disappeared?
Exactly.
And they weren't good?
And all you needed is 500 to get on, but the point was that...
The point is, where's the transparency, right? Where were they being, honest?
And how many did Langevin get? They reported, 1,500 or something like that?
Well over 1,000, yeah.
Yeah. And, you know what I mean? Like, it just shows, and what that does, I know, folks, you only need 500 to get on this Congress, but the thing is, it shows a lot of weight. In other words, if Salvatore would have got the correct numbers, it would have gave him more credibility going into the campaign, because the people see that. Oh, he only got 600 votes, 600 signatures, he's not really going to do good. Small stuff like that makes a big difference. And,
of course it does.
And, you're talking about this voter fraud going on.
Well, the voter fraud's quite simple. Listen, we all know that this stuff's been going on. I'm actually pulling up a couple of things here on the Secretary of State website for voter registration, for instance. And, the whole thing is quite scary, what they ask you to bring with you in order to register to vote. It's either a driver's license, but it doesn't only stop there. It goes even further. If you don't have this, then a passport or, different things like that. I'm having a little bit of a hard time finding it here. But anyway, they have this whole list. It goes all the way to a school ID, which, by the way, in Providence, we've got a lot of international students. Utility bills, all sorts of stuff. I mean, it's crazy. It's really, really crazy.
Oh, it is, because me and you both voted ourselves, obviously, and we had to show definitive proof, that we were who we said we were,
Yeah, but that's to a certain point. This is just to register. This is just to register, to vote. And this is what this is the stuff they came up with.
Well, I remember
right
back in November there, Sal, we were when we were on the campaign trail before the general election, we heard about Central Falls. They were allowing because the early voting system is only for people who actually are going to be out of the country or on vacation or whatnot, but they were actually promoting people to come down and vote early. It doesn't matter. They were taking anybody without an excuse.
Right. Right, and I'm just wondering how many times they even checked ID. And in fact, that's what happened in Cranston. They had a couple of people who voted twice that went in for the emergency vote and then went into the poll afterwards.
Exactly. And on the article I was just reading here by phone, he was talking about, he said it was 2 cases of suspected non-citizens being registered and actually voted in our city, 2 incidents of residents who allegedly voted by emergency ballot at City Hall prior to the election day. And
now,
also,
notice how they're just keeping it at 2.
Yep. And 2 residents, 2, who allegedly voted twice or whatever. And it's, we know Go Local Providence, they're more liberal, so they're going to keep it to the numbers crunched instead of the truth.
Yeah.
So, I
don't know. But anyway, I found it right here, Dan. Forms of identification to register to vote first time by mail, which you have to send in by mail, by the way. And it's either a driver's license or a Rhode Island voter identification card. How can you have that if it's the first time you're registering?
Well, no, the
anyway,
registry site, too. Like when you renew your driver's license, all that stuff, you can actually register to vote right then and there.
Yeah. Government issued medical card, employee identification card. You don't have to be a citizen to have that.
No.
As long as you're a green card holder, you're fine. A credit or debit card, student identification card, health club identification card.
Yeah, none of that proves
plan
it.
Identification card, a public housing identification card.
And none of those are proof that you're a resident.
Here, if you don't have those, then you can use a utility bill or a bank statement or any other document issued by a government agency. Lease or rental statement as well. Really?
And none of those actually prove that you're a legal citizen of this country, because anybody could
not.
get it. But we got to go to a break.
course
If you
not.
want to hang on, brother, hang on for a minute.
Yeah, all right.
We got to go to a break, and we got, I think, 30 seconds, whatever. But, folks, voter fraud is very real. And remember, all over the media, it's impossible. Conspiracy theorists. That would never happen. There's people talking out of their asses. There's no such thing as voter fraud. We've been reporting this long before it came to light. Anyway, we'll be right back on the Dan Bidondi Show with our whole guest, Salvatore Caioso. On the Dan Bidondi Show, we'll be right back.
Here in Rhode Island, we
990WBOB.com.
All right, welcome back to the Dan Bidondi Show. And Providence General reports Cranston Police probing general election voting irregularities. In Cranston, Rhode Island, the police department is investigating 8 voting irregularities arising from November's general election that were tuned up by the Board of Canvassers, official says, and Mayor Alan Fung of Cranston acknowledged the investigation and said that one or more of the cases involved an individual having voted twice. Well, that's just what's reported. And this is from the Providence Journal, and we got our guest. He's a congressional candidate for Rhode Island District 2, Salvatore Caioso. And, Sal, how's it going? I mean, I've been on the campaign trail with you, and we worked our asses off. We really did, and the numbers don't add up. They really don't. But, I mean, this affected you, affected Fung, Mr. Fung from becoming our governor, and many other candidates, too.
Well, it affects everybody. And bottom line, what it affects the most is the citizens of Rhode Island. That's the actual bottom line, especially when we're ready to do something about it. And, there's people like us that go out there and say, hey, what you're doing's wrong, and we need to fix this whole system. And unfortunately, that doesn't happen. But you got to remember, back in October, there was something that came out about our voter rolls having 189,000 more names than they should. Do you remember that?
Yep.
What does that tell you? I mean, all of these things to me are red flags.
And just nick of time, not even a year earlier, Gino Raimondo welcomed them in thousands, that's on record, not counting the ones that they did under the cover, thousands of Syrian refugees and illegals into the state.
Mm-hmm. Which they are constitutionally bound, they can't vote.
Exactly. And anybody else, you're a racist for saying that. Well, who gives me the right to go over to Cuba and say, hey, I have a right to vote for your president? You know what I mean? Or prime, whatever the hell they call it over there. But, you know what I mean?
But that's the truth. It's the absolute truth. You got to be a citizen in order to vote. You got your green card. Well, now here's your chance to get your citizenship after 5 years. It's fine. You can do it. And you can be included as well. It's that simple.
Exactly.
But however, they've rigged the system some way or another to make it easy for them to do it. And unfortunately, according to general laws of Rhode Island, they're all committing felonies. Why is no one looking at this?
Oh, yeah. And, you got Mayor Laws of Providence, and you got Governor Raimondo of Rhode Island here just instigating it, telling people, just do it. You know what I mean? And all kinds of violations that these two are committing against the federal government and the state of Rhode Island, the Constitution in general. But how could these people get away with that? That's the thing.
Dan, if I knew, I'd probably be a millionaire by now or a billionaire at this point.
Absolutely.
I don't know how they're getting away with it. They're getting away with it. They're getting away with it because of big business, corporations. This stuff happened a long, long time ago in Europe. And it's happening all over again here in our own country, in our backyard. The things that we stood up against and we fought against. With corporatism, remember this, Dan, and remember this quite, and everybody out there needs to remember this too. When you have corporations starting to run everything, that leads to fascism. Fascism's already at the door, my friends. I'm telling you. And don't think it's the Republican Party or the Democratic Party, because I'll tell you what, it's both of them.
Yeah, exactly. And we've seen that for ourselves. I mean, we talked to, and the thing is, too, how many people we talked to? We talked to thousands of people that all said they were sick of Landrin, your opponent there, but yet he wins by a incredible margin. Like, he beat you and Ruiz, the Republican candidate, by an incredible margin. And you got all these people saying they're sick of him, we're getting him out. But how is this even possible? The numbers don't add up. The polls don't add up. I mean, it's just like you got the Shank, so did Alan Fung, and a couple other people there. And, it just shows you completely that the state of Rhode Island is pure corrupt, as everybody knows that. And we got to do something about it.
Well, the big thing everybody out there can do is get in touch with your state reps and be heard. I think that there's a bill coming up right now, shortly, that you have to show you're a citizen in order to vote. At least someone has the common sense that's in that state house to say that.
Well, I'm good. I was just talking about that before you came on. That'll be great. Everybody needs to get behind that. And believe it or not, we do have a lot of good state reps here in Rhode Island. Me and Salvatore were good friends with a lot of them, and they work their butts off. They're constitutionalists, and some are Republican, some are independent, some are libertarian, but they work their butts off to try to push things, do their part in saving this republic. Your good friend Mike Chippendale, he's a state rep as well, and I know you're good friends with him and everything. And what does he feel about this?
Well, I was actually talking to him about it this morning, actually, and it's like, yeah, I mean, he agrees 100% of the way. It's quite a difficult situation.
Yeah.
And, yeah, how can you bring something like this out without being labeled a racist? Which, by all means, I'm not a racist. I'm just somebody who says, hey, the law says this, you're going to follow the law.
Exactly. But you like how it's a double standard. When they break the law, it's okay, but when you do, you're a racist.
Yeah, how about that, huh? What a double standard that is. But anyway, I think common sense at the end of the day might win. It won most of the rest of the country.
Exactly. But so we got 2 minutes.
We still have our little area up here, which, of course, was taken over by the political cronyism and the Democratic machine.
Well, we got about 2 minutes left here. If you want to get people in, you definitely got to vote, run again, in 2018.
Yeah, I am, actually. And last time I ran on a shoestring, by the way, and we actually didn't do too bad with the votes, the vote count.
Yeah, we got, a little over 10,000 votes.
Yeah, I need to, we're going to need people, manpower, woman power, people power, whatever way you want to say it. And above all, we're going to need donations going, too, which, by the way, the website's still up, RhodyFirst.com. It's RHODY. And any type of help that people can give, by all means, and get in touch with me, too, because I'm interested in hearing what you got to say.
Absolutely, and his contact information is on that website, Rhody First. And I love how he's the only candidate that doesn't put his name on the website. It's to put Rhody First, Rhode Island citizens first. That's what he's going at. And that's the only candidate that I heard that actually did that. But Sal, thank you for coming on, man. And we'll be in touch.
All right, take it easy, Dan. Have a good night, huh?
Thank you, brother. God bless. And I was Salvatore Caiozzo, independent candidate for Congress, Rhode Island District 2. But we'll have more about all this stuff and more when we get back from the break on 990WBOB.com. All right, welcome back to the Dan Bidondi Show, your March 7, 2017 edition, right here at 990WBOB.com. Salvatore Caiozzo, RhodyFirst.com. Check him out. And, again, no other candidate I know puts, they always put their name, whatever, for whatever seat, but putting Rhody First, in other words, the state of Rhode Island, that's Rhody's is a short name for it. That's pretty good. And anyway, I just want to send a special rest in peace message out. This guy, I didn't really get along with him well. I mean, he's a great journalist. He was a great talk show host and everything else. Over the years, we battled back and forth, trashing each other. We actually debated each other and everything else. And but the thing is, at the end of the day, regardless what side you're on or whatever political spectrum you stand on, we're all human beings. You know what I mean? And it was Chez Pazienza. He was from California. He was actually originally from Rhode Island here. And he was on the Bob and Chez show, the Bubble Genius Bob and Chez show with Bob Seska, who's also a journalist for Salon.com. Well, Chez Pazienza, he was a journalist for many news outlets and everything else. 49 years old. I mean, the guy, we're going to put a picture on the YouTube here for him. But again, we battled over the years. I mean, we called each other every name in a book, just went at it. You know what I mean? We debated each other, and I made shows about them. They made shows about me. But the thing is, at the end of the day, we're all human beings. It doesn't matter if you're Republican, Democrat, Independent, whatever your philosophical view is, we're all human beings. You know what I mean? And I want to send a special RIP to Chez Pazienza. God rest your soul, brother. And he was a nice guy, though. You know what I mean? Besides me and him going back and forth, he was a nice guy. And again, it's about being human beings. And I wish I could send that message to all the people out there who are opposing Trump, people attacking each other. The other side too, both sides attacking each other. Yeah, you know what? We all have our political rights, to vote for whoever we want, like whoever we want. But at the end of the day, you know what? Shake hands. You know what I mean? Don't go kill your fellow brother, human, because he likes Trump or he likes Hillary. You know what I mean? Come on. Really. When it comes to the bottom of it, these people don't know even the hell you are. You know what I mean? You're over there killing your brother and sister over somebody that doesn't even know the hell you are, doesn't know that you even exist. You know what I mean? Like, people need to unite like that. You know what I mean? Like the Founding Fathers, for example. Every congressional meeting, every meeting started off with a prayer. And boy, did they go at it. Oh, man, in the congressional halls and the Senate meetings, they went at it hardcore. I mean, back and forth, debating, screaming and yelling down each other's throats. But guess what? When the final hammer went down for the end of session, it was over. They all brushed it off, shook hands like human beings, walked out together, went to lunch together, and came to a common ground. Why can't we do that? Why we got to run around and act like babies, go piss and moan and complain because our person didn't get in the White House, whatever the cause. I'm not going to go down that road right now. Whatever the cause, okay? At the end of the day, we're all human beings, plain and simple. You know what I mean? And like this guy, Chez Pazienza and Bob Seska, which is a good friend of his, Chez Pazienza died, and I feel bad. I do, I really do. And God bless him and his family and everything. And again, he's a Rhode Island resident. Well, he was born in Rhode Island, and I feel bad for the guy. And at the end of the day, we're human beings, and I have to, hearts and prayers go out to them. I really do, and Bob Sesker as well, because he was a good friend of his. And so, that being said, we need to come to a common ground at the end of the day. Put our political differences aside and say, hey, you know what? Shake hands, let's go out to dinner. You know what I mean? If they came down here at the time when he was alive, I would have went out to dinner with them. I would have, shook hands with them and had, gone out and painted the town, whatever. But I'm just saying we need to, at the end of the day, when the debates are over, screaming and yelling, shake hands, walk away, and come back for another day. That's it. You know what I mean? That's all you can do, because fighting with each other and just killing each other over what? You know what I mean? It's ridiculous. That needs to end. And people out there who are constantly bashing Trump, attacking people and all that. And I'm not, I do like Trump. I do. I'm not going to sugarcoat nothing. I do like Trump. But the thing is, we don't need to be screaming, in other words, we don't need to be attacking people. When Obama was in for 8 years, I didn't go out and attack people, loot and riot and nothing of that. You know what I mean? We need to come together as a common ground. But anyway, we got to move on to some news, because coming together for a common ground, TSA, the Transportation Safety Administration, I like to call them the Toilet Seat Administration. Anybody sees that episode of South Park? They're tightening down their procedures now to become more invasive. And this affects everybody. And it's not a political issue here. It's nothing to do with Republican, Democrat. It's the thing is, everybody is under threat. So if you refuse to get the radiation body scanners, that actually, the scientists even proved that unzips part of your DNA. Especially, and the thing is, I was the first person to report this. When those naked body scanners came out, I said, on record, when I was on the AM station in Rhode Island, I said, the TSA agents who work around these things all day long, they're going to be the first to have to go to the hospital and be treated for cancer. And sure enough, I think it was a year later, it started surfacing in the news that TSA agents who work on these machines were being treated for cancer. It's like when you go to the hospital, the nurse stands behind a lead wall and she gives people x-rays. But imagine doing that all day long with no lead wall there. And these things are more powerful than those hospital x-ray scanners. Now they have a different technology, but it's still radiation in another form. But anyway, you refuse to do that, they're going to pat you down. So if you say, I want to opt out, which is your right to do that, if you decide to opt in, we'll be here. And they make you wait purposely. So they send you through this puffer machine. And it's a weird machine you walk through and it blows air to look for any chemicals or gunpowder or whatever, and they have you go along the side, take your shoes off, and they put a metal wand around you like they do in the courthouses, which that ain't bad. That's fine. Except for when they start patting you down, it becomes a little personal. It's like they don't buy you dinner first, if you know what I mean. They go right for the foreplay, and they start patting you down violently. And now, Infowars.com and also Bloomberg reports this, U.S. airport pat-downs are about to get more invasive. The TSA reacts to a study that found weapons making it past security. And we all know since 2001, when TSA took over the airports, invaded the airports, I should say, we all know that TSA has not caught yet one terrorist. Not all. Not one. Anyway, while few have noticed, U.S. airport security workers long had the option of using 5 different types of physical pat-downs at the screening line. Now those options have been eliminated and replaced with a single universal approach. This time, you will notice. The new physical touch-in for those selected to have a pat-down will be what the federal agency officially describes as more comprehensive, quote-unquote. Physically screening according to the Transportation Security Administration spokesman, the toilet seat Safety Administration, and Denver Airport International, for example, notify employees at the flight crews on Thursday that the more rigorous, quote-unquote, searches will be more thorough and may involve an officer making more intimate contact than before. And the spokesman from TSA, Bruce Anderson, quoted Friday, I would say people who in the past would have gotten a pat down that wasn't involved will notice the new pat down is more involved. So it's going to become more frisky and more involved, and like they're going to go up your crotch. You know what I mean? And when they touch under the breast, they're going to be groping your wife, groping your kid, your 16-year-old daughter especially. This has been all over the place. And I'm not saying, I met so many TSA agents. I really did. When I was traveling a lot with InfoWars, most of them come up to me, hey, Dan Bidondi, how you doing, man? Tell Alex we're not all bad, which they ain't. They're very good people, a lot of work for the TSA. And they're like, look, pointing out, look, I'm not, touching no genitals, whatever. They're the cool, they was really cool, you know what I mean? And they're really cool about things. But you got these few who hate people like me, really hate us, and InfoWars and everything else. And you got those people who, they're just perverts that love to be there, and they see that 16-year-old girl going on the Disney family vacation. They'll pull her aside and say, come here, we got to do some extra searching because your name came up on the list. So not only you have to go through that x-ray machine, they get to stare at your naked body, which in the training manuals it does say they record, transmit, and store your images, even though they lied and said they don't. But not only that, you got to pull you aside because you need additional security screening. So they sit there and grope that, that hot little girl there, the 16-year-old girl. Oh, yeah, then the mother, too. Oh, yeah, bring her over, too. Oh, let's put our fingers right up the crotch. And they do this. And again, it's not all the TSA agents do this. It's selected few. Literally, child molesting perverts work for TSA. I don't know how many reports that people saying that they literally grew up their kids. And one time, with the 2010, I believe, was one story that really touched me. 6-month-old baby. About 6 months old, they were told that the parents, hey, your son is on a no-fly list, a terrorist. His name came up as a terrorist. Common sense would say, hey, it's a 6-month-old kid. So they pulled the kid aside and left it on the table in the car seat for about 6 hours. Every time he was crying and the diaper needed changing, needed feeding, the baby, and every time the mother got up to go attend to the baby, they threatened her with arrest if she did it again. Every single time. And today finally cleared up, oh, he's not a terrorist. Well, no kidding, you morons. And this is what your tax dollars are paying for. We need to get TSA the hell out of the airport. And we need to send a petition to Donald Trump to say, abolish the TSA. We don't need them. I worked at the airport for years. Years I worked at the airport. And TSA has been more of a hassle. And if you think the airlines like TSA, no, they don't. And I'm not supposed to tell people this, but when you get a boarding pass and you get little tags and all that, if you see 4 S's, a quad S they call it, 4 S's on your ticket, when you go through security, you got to go through security, all right. They got to do additional screening. That means additional screening. And there's 2 out of 3 criteria, they call it. In other words, if you book the flight less than 24 hours and it's a one-way, you meet the 2 out of 3 criteria. Or if you don't have ID, proper ID. That's 3 out of 3 criteria. So if you meet at least 2 of those, boy, you're going to get screened. You got to go through the X-ray scan up, the puffer, get so much additional. You got to be pulled aside and probably almost strip searched. No, I mean, I'm not joking, folks. This is very intrusive what they're doing. Now, I don't mean to take the whole show on this. We got a lot of other news to cover, but this is real stuff, and we need to send some kind of petition to Trump to say we need to get the TSA the hell out of here. They have done nothing, cost taxpayers up the zing-zang. The airlines can't stand them because they cause flight delays. I worked for the airlines, I know. They cause flight delays. The airlines are pissed off with them constantly. They're always screwing up the bag tags. They're always they're causing delays in flights, and now they have to up their fees because they have to pay. Not only taxpayers, we have to pay TSA, the airlines have to pay a certain fee, the security fee to TSA. So now they have no choice to up the fares for the airlines to compensate for this. Instead of the old traditional security the airports had on the local status, you know what I mean? And they did a great job. It wasn't intrusive. They stopped people like they did a great job. Simple procedures. But we need to get the TSA out of here. And I know they've been yipping about the TSA for years, but it's going to get worse. It really is. And they were talking about taser bracelets. Dude, I'm not even joking. You can't make this stuff up. Taser bracelets. They want to put a bracelet on you. If you get out of control, the air marshal pushes the button, and your taser bracelet will shock the hell out of you. They were talking about this 4 years ago. And if you eye detect is retinal scans and all that, iris scans, if they detect that you're nervous because the first time you've been on a plane, it'll send off some kind of alarm to alarm them that, hey, this guy's nervous. It could be up to something bad. Even though most people are afraid of flying. This stuff ain't a joke. Go look at all the stuff they're doing. It's so sick and crazy. But anyway, got to move on quick. Organic and Healthy News reports that 9/11 conspiracy author Philip Marshall, his dog, and 2 kids found dead in California. And I'm going to skip through this real quick. He wrote a book called Lakefront Airport, False Flag 9/11, How Bush, Cheney, and the Saudis Created a Post-9/11 World back in 2008, The Big Bamboozle. And it was quoted from the Wayne Madison, a security agency officer, says that Philip Marshall and his kids were murdered in a black ops hit by the CIA. While ignoring the suicide theory, Marshall was in fear of being silenced for his openings about 9/11 terrorist attacks. Madison said that the side door used by the investigative author that was never used was wide open, and officials found his dead body. And he said, this looks like a black ops hit by the CIA. Now, I haven't really, because I have a kind of trust issue with news sources because there's a lot of fake stuff going around, and I actually try to do this, look this up. So if it is fake, somebody tell me, but I wouldn't put it past me. This guy revealed a lot of stuff about 9/11, but it's Organic and Healthy News, and looks pretty legit, but I've got to double check that out. I just want to let people know, but the CIA, they do go after people like that. Little controversial story coming up too. A 17-year-old transgender boy wins Texas Girls Wrestling Championship. This came out in America, and NPR News, I'm sorry. And Trinity High School junior Mac Beggs awaits a signal from a referee, and basically to win his or her, whatever she is. She's a girl. Long story short, she won a state championship. She wanted to become a guy, so she boosted up on steroids and hormones and all that stuff that's illegal to compete in the NCAA and the colleges and high school athletic sports and even the Olympics. But the stuff that is illegal, she used, and they would not allow her on the boys wrestling team. So she won. That's not the issue. She won the state championship being on steroids. How is that fair? It's not. But we got a lot more news to cover when we get back on the Dan Bidondi Show. We'll be right back. All right, and some more controversial news. I love how I just bring this controversial stuff up. But Supreme Court scraps Obama's tranny bathroom policy, reports Kit Daniels from InfoWars. Obama exploited bathroom debate to usurp power from local schools. And the Supreme Court basically stepped away because the Fourth Circuit actually ruled in favor. There was one particular case the article talks about. We got to move on. But basically, they agreed to have whatever sex the child prefers to be identified to use that particular bathroom, but a lot of schools are saying no. If you're biologically a girl or boy where you're born with, you use that bathroom. And the thing is, if you want to be a boy or girl, that's the issue here. If you want to be a boy or girl, that's your issue. God bless you, whatever floats your boat. But the thing is, you should not use that other bathroom, because there was one case here. For example, parents in Hillsborough, Missouri revolted when high school officials told their daughters to suck it up after a male student transitioned into a female almost overnight and was granted the use of the female restroom. Now, we're not saying all transgenders are perverts. We know they're not. We know they're not perverts at all. But the thing is, who's to say? I mean, 14, 15-year-old boy, I mean, you got hormones like, I don't want to get into that, but you'll do anything, to see these hot chicks or something. You're like, oh, I'm a transgender. I want to, go see these chicks in the shower or something, in the girls' locker room. But I'm not saying all of the transgenders are like that. I'm just saying, if you want, whatever you want to be, but the thing is, if you're in a public place, respect that. Go into that boy's room, if you're a boy, and go to the girl's room for girls. What's the big deal? You know what I mean? There's a big deal when a guy goes into a girl's room. That's called respect. I mean, there's got to be a line drawn somewhere. You know what I mean? But we got more news to cover, and with the spiritual warfare, and this is huge, folks. And the thing is, it's being done all over the planet now. I mean, like the rise of demonic possession, regardless of if you believe it or not. I mean, much as I don't agree with the Catholic Church a lot, but even the Catholic Church is reporting a huge rise in demonic possession, a huge rise in the spiritual warfare. They're training massive amounts of priests for this that are not trained in this, and it's getting crazy. I mean, there was a video on InfoWars, I forgot what the hell the title was, but a girl's just literally possessed in the street, like just screaming out something about Trump, against Trump, and crazy, real crazy. And I know there's another one that was a few months ago during the election, screaming no, but this lady was just, you could tell it wasn't her. I mean, anybody that knows spiritual warfare knows, you could tell. Well, you got the cop-outs, these so-called doctors say, oh, no, it's a psychiatric issue. They just lost their mind, and the thing is, I don't mean to get off the path, but if you go to these hospitals, these mental institutions, most of these people could be helped. But what do? They suck, they bring the person in, dope them up on psychotropics, makes them 10 times worse than they ever were. And the state gets a lot of money for these people. But most of these people can be helped because it's a spiritual issue for most of the part. 9 out of 10 times it's a spiritual issue that's going on with the people there. That can be helped, and it could be very simple. But they will not do it. They'll dope them up with psychotropic drugs, even though they'll see paranormal things happening before their eyes, the doctors. They got so much of a box around their head, they can't acknowledge that because it doesn't exist to them. And they got it drilled into their head so much, they can see a woman float 3 feet off the ground. Somehow, some way, 40 people in the room can see this, somehow, some way, the psychiatrist would convince themselves and the other people in the room, no, you didn't see that. That's just an illusion that we all casted upon our head, some cockamamie excuse. I've seen the stuff myself, folks. And the cockamamie excuses that people use, and these people have doctrines and everything. They master's degrees in college. Very smart people, yes, but they have a box over their head with limits. If it's outside that realm, they completely dismiss it like it's not real, which makes them more psychotic than the people they're treating. Because they really believe in themselves. Even though they've seen it to their face, they've seen a girl like float above the bed or fly up a wall and be stuck to the pin to the damn ceiling. And people say, oh, it's a movie. No, this is real stuff, folks. Real stuff. And they'll convince themselves, oh, it's not real. They'll convince them that. They're making themselves feel better and to keep their job as well. But these people could be helped. But anyway, you got liberal media claims crucifix attracts xenophobic Christians. And for wearing a crucifix, Norwegian minister accused of being xenophobia. having xenophobia, which xenophobia is a noun. It's for fear and hatred of strangers or foreigners or anything that is strange or foreign. In other words, I don't know, it's people who don't accept the cross, the spirit, the faith, they think it's, the priest or whoever's wearing it is one causing it. When it's a complex issue, it really is. But a Norwegian minister was accused of wearing a crucifix as a prop to promote xenophobic views. And you got to check this article out because we do got to move on. It was Clifford Cunningham of Infowars.com reported this in response to Slavy Lustava, Norway's first minister of migration and integration, argued that liberal media ignores the facts to target right-leaned politicians after journalist Sven Eagle Model claimed that she never wore the crucifix before appointed to her current position. And basically they're arguing about the right, again, turning stuff right versus left. It's ridiculous. But, because she was wearing a cross, all of a sudden she's xenophobic now. Which leads on to the next stories here. The Daily Caller is reporting this now. The two numbers show the startling rise of exorcisms in America. And Casey Harper reports this here. A psychiatrist and professor has worked with victims of demonic possession for decades. And he says America's exorcisms are on the rise. And we've been saying that here. I mean, it's staggering, folks. And people think this stuff is only in movies. No, you have no idea. No idea. You could be atheist, whatever you want. It doesn't matter. You cannot escape this stuff. This stuff is real. I mean, I've seen people bash into a damn car that should have killed the person. Gets up and walks away like nothing happened. Completely destroyed the front end of the vehicle. Gets up or falls off a bridge. Gets up and walks away like nothing happened. How do you explain that? I don't care what kind of meth and coke you are on. You can't do that. There's things that happen every day that break all the laws of physics, the laws of things that men set for themselves. That cannot happen. It's not supposed to happen. How do you explain that? You know what I mean? You can't. And that's why these doctors completely all the time avoid the paranormal sector. Anyway, Richard Gallagher, a certified psychiatrist and clinically psychiatrist professor of New York Medical College, works with the Catholic priests to help them answer one question. Is the tormented patient a victim of illness, what we were just talking about, mental illness, or could it be demonic possession? And we were just saying that these people can be helped, and we got less than 2 minutes here. And worldwide demonic possessions on the rise, church prepares for spiritual warfare by Catholic Online. Catholic Church is training additional priests to combat the problem. A lot of, because I guess a lot of, in Los Angeles here, a lot of these priests are not trained, but they're stressing, only Catholic priests have the authority to do that. No, the Bible makes it very clear. Anybody that believes in the blood of the Lamb, Jesus Christ, can do this. You don't need to be a priest or a deliverance minister. Get yourself right with God and confront the thing and help whoever's possessed, whatever. I mean, it's a very serious thing. We're going to get more into that next week. We're actually going to try to bring on a spiritual warfare expert about this to let you know what you can do to help out and what you could do in case you're attacked or whatever. I know it sounds far-fetched, folks, but this is real stuff going on. But we're out of time here. Thank you for joining us on the Dan Bidondi Show with Dan Bidondi. And check my website out, truthradioshow.com. Twitter me at Dan Bidondi, and also at 990wbob.com for the show here in the radio station. But anyway, see you next week. God bless.
The preceding program has been a production of 990wbob.com. The views, opinions, and thoughts expressed do not represent those of 990 or its staff. Stay tuned to 990wbob.com for more original programming and catch more Dan Bidondi weeknights 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Don't forget to check out the live video feed and head over to the show's page for more 990wbob.com programming.
Defending liberty in the spirit of 1776. It's Dan Bidondi on TruthRadioShow.com.